Hey YouTube, Rob back again with another video. Well yes, it's been a very long time since I made a video. I've been wanting to come back and make a video for sort of quite a while, but it just hasn't happened. I think I've just been out of the routine for just so long that I just sort of found it really hard to come back. I won't sort of go into perhaps too much detail sort of where I've been. I might make another video, maybe a vlog or something, just explaining what I've been doing for the last year and a half or 2 years or whatever it was since I've made a video. But yeah, I've got a big box of movies that I've wanted to be movies that I wanted to sort of talk about for quite a while, and the box is just getting bigger and bigger, and so I think it's just about time I got sort of start talking about, because I want to really talk about that movie, sort of thing. I want to share it with you guys, sort of thing. So this is what I'm doing today. I've decided I'm going to do it today. I'm going to at least talk about a couple, just so I can, try and shrink the pile a little bit. Yeah, so I'm back to starting to it before I start rambling on too much. We'll start with the Steelbook. We've got Ready Player One, which is actually a film that I think I won on eBay. I didn't even realise that I'd won it. I think sometimes I go onto eBay and go to the new listings. It's got 6 days left or something, and 99 cents or something, and I just sort of bid on it, sort of how much I'd be willing to pay for it. And usually, what happens, someone comes along, a day or two later and just bids more, and I don't bother to go back because it's more than I want to pay for it. But anyway, I just out of the blue got this email saying that I'd won the auction. So obviously someone didn't bid as high, as much as me, and I ended up getting it. So there you go. It's actually, I actually didn't mind this one actually. It does get sort of mixed reviews, I think, but I thought it was a sort of a fun sort of movie, and I'm a bit of a gamer, not so much these days, but I'm a bit of a geek for gaming, so that's why I enjoyed the film, as much as I did. It's a bit of a film, perhaps, you could argue it's kind of a bit of a one-time watch, maybe. I think it's kind of a bit of a sort of a mystery, type storyline, and, you're quite interested to find out, how it's going to end, and I suppose once you know how it ends, it's, it's not much fun to sort of, go back and rewatch it again. But, yeah, I actually didn't mind. I thought it was actually some sort of fun sort of movie, and it's not about it in Steelbook. So that's that one. Next on to this one, a film that a Blu-ray. I don't know why I bought it, to be honest. Really, it's the reboot of Ghost in the Shell. I do actually quite like the first movie a lot. I think it's a bit of a masterpiece, even if it's just a visual masterpiece. There's some really great visuals in it, and just really mind-blowing stuff. And I mean, a fan of Ghost in the Shell, and I do quite like Scarlett Johansson. I think she's a bit of a babe, so that's kind of why perhaps I wanted to buy the movie. I did go to the cinema and watch it, and it's not too bad, but it's one of the things I think it just doesn't compare to the original. I think I'd sort of put this in and watch it, and I'll get to the end, and I'd just be disappointed that it's nowhere as near as good as the original one. It does sort of try to sort of recreate some of the scenes from the original film, but it's just not the same. Very much like the Terminator Genesis, where they tried to sort of go back in time and they'd sort of recreate some of the scenes from the very sort of first movie. It's just the tone's not right, and the actors aren't right, and it's just not the same. So this is very similar to this, it's kind of what this is going to, and this is just, what this is going to be. It's just, you're going to rewatch it. It's just not going to be quite as good as the original. So I don't know whether I'll get this one or not. I might end up selling it, but anyway, that's that one. Okay, the next few here are actually probably the best films you can ever get. I'll explain that to you, what I mean by that. I've actually got Martian and Prometheus, and as you can see, I've got sort of, hang on, I've got too many there. I'll put that one back. Yes, obviously 2 copies of the very same movie. And you might ask, why do I have 2 copies of the same movie? Well, I did sort of order, let's see, I ordered this one and this one, but they actually sent me these ones. And you're asking, well, what's the difference? Well, these ones here are actually sort of combo packs. They've got the 4K, they've got the 4K disc, and they've also got the Blu-ray disc. Whereas the ones they sent me only just got the, the 4K discs in them. So I sort of sent an email back to JB Hi-Fi where I bought them from, and just sort of said, oh, you sent me the wrong ones, and it sort of happened to me before. They just, you don't sort of hear from them for a few days, and they just send you some new movies, and they don't say anything about sending back the old ones or anything. So I just ended up sort of keeping them. It wasn't perhaps a big deal that it was only going to be the 4K discs, because I just bought a 4K player not too long ago, but I sort of had the thought, well, if someone wanted to borrow these movies off me, they can't sort of watch them unless they've got a 4K player. So that's sort of why I sort of sent them an email about it. But yeah, so I ended up with a spare copy. So I don't know whether I'll sell them or what I'll do with them yet. But anyway, so I can't complain of that. Sort of the best movies to get, free ones. Okay, I did buy another 4K movie. That's the original Blade Runner movie, because obviously the new film came out. Now I'm pretty sure I would have mentioned this sort of film before, perhaps on my channel, and it's probably a film that this is probably the film that I've rewatched the most over the years. Not necessarily because I'm a huge fan of it. It's just that people just absolutely rave on about it and just say it's an absolute masterpiece, and I never sort of quite understood why. So I sort of I did sort of rewatch it a few times over the years to try and, I guess, trying to understand why people reckon it was so great. And I think I have sort of grown to appreciate it over the years. I think it is actually quite a good movie. It's the problem that I sort of have. It's 2 hours long, but yet I just don't get enough from it. I just want a bit more. It needs to be 3 hours long or something to sort of really drop me in this this world, and I want to try and experience it a bit more. It just sort of seems to be over too quickly, which I suppose is not a major complaint. I suppose maybe I'm being a bit nitpicky with that, but yeah, I always just wanted a little bit more from it. So that's that one. And then of course the sequel came along, which I guess in some ways no one was really expecting. I thought it might have been a bit too late for a sequel. A film people that have been absolutely just raving on about, best film of the year, must watch, etc., etc. And I guess maybe I'm a bit of a minority on this, but I can't understand why people reckon this is such a great movie. I was actually perhaps a bit let down by it, to be honest. People rave on about the visuals to it, and they are quite good. I'm not going to say they're not quite good, but to me, I don't know. It just weren't groundbreaking to me. I'm pretty sure I've seen images like that before. I don't know. It just didn't. The visuals just don't grab me. The film, as other people have sort of said, it's a little bit too long. I think Ryan Gosling can be a bit of a dull watch sometimes. He's a bit emotionless in his face, as other people have sort of said. I suppose you could argue that he's obviously a replicant in this movie, so that's perhaps why he's a bit sort of a bit of a dull face sort of thing. Harrison Ford's another actor which I've watched a few of his films, and you just seem a bit bored. Perhaps sometimes, I don't know. It's just the feeling that I sort of get. Especially in the original film, he seems a bit bored too. I don't know if that's just me, but that's kind of what I see. And spoilers, I suppose. Harrison Ford doesn't appear in this movie till sort of near the end of the movie. He's not too bad in this movie. He's not quite as, I don't know. He's always been a bit grumpy, I think, in some of the other films I've seen him in. But it's not a bad film. Some really nice visuals to it. It's a few nice sort of storyline elements to it. But I don't know. It just, I think the point I'm trying to make is it just didn't grab me as much as it seems to grab other people. I didn't think the visuals were that outstanding. I think some of the female characters are a bit underused. They sort of set up these really nice, interesting, female characters, and they just don't seem to sort of go anywhere. They just seem to sort of, I don't know, fade away a little bit. And, as I have watched it a few more times, and I have sort of I can appreciate it a bit more. But, I don't know, it just didn't grab me as much as it seems to have, grab other people. But anyway, so that's that. That's my opinion on that. You can disagree with it if you want, but that's fine. Okay, on to some more sci-fi. We had a few Star Wars movies come out while I was away not making videos. Okay, we'll start with Rogue One. I've got this very nice digibook, which I'm not quite sure whether it's ever sort of been shown on YouTube before. I think it's probably an Australian only version, I assume. Nice sort of book inside, and pretty cool edition. I was a sucker for a good steelbook or a nice digibook if I can find it for cheap enough. Another film that I sort of watched, and to be honest, I didn't really like it that much the first time I watched it. I think I gave it 2.5 stars, but I have watched it, numerous times since then. I've actually watched, I think, all the Star Wars movies repeatedly over the last couple of years, quite a few times. I guess my OCD kicks in, and when The Force Awakens came out, I had to watch all the 6 movies before that, and before I could watch The Force Awakens. And then of course Force Awakens came out on DVD and Blu-ray, so I had to go back and watch all the films first before I could re-watch Force Awakens on Blu-ray, as you do. And I watched the prequels a few times, and watched that with audio commentary a few times. And anyway, so as you can see, I've watched Star Wars quite a bit. Yeah, as I said, I think I gave it 2.5 the first time I watched it. I didn't like it that much. People complain about it. It's a bit of a slow burn to start off with, and the last, I think, half an hour is really action-packed, and I guess in some ways, sort of saves the movie. But yeah, I've actually watched it a few more times, and I do quite a lot. I actually don't mind it now. I think it's the fact I just come to the point where you just got to forget that it's a Star Wars movie. I think if you can forget that, you can enjoy it a lot more. But to me, it wasn't a Star Wars movie, and especially when you consider the fact that it's supposed to be a bit of a link between, was it episode sort of 3, 3 and 4. So it's a film that's sort of set in that time period between those 2 movies, and the film here is it's just been modernised a bit too much for my liking. Especially, you got this, they've got the robot, what's his name again? K2SO, or whatever it is. And he's just completely different to, the older robots, C3PO and R2, which is, I guess maybe you could say that's fine to have a different type of robot, but my thinking is that if you look at the R2 and CPO, they were essentially slaves, sort of the first movies, and now you got this funky, cool robot that talks back and is really sassy, and in some ways maybe just be there to make the film a bit cooler and maybe sell a few toys. And it just, to me, it just doesn't fit. I mean, you argue the fact that I suppose the Resistance have basically reprogrammed this, this new robot, which is, I guess, why he's a bit different, maybe. But why would you reprogram a robot, to help you, and then give it this sort of sassy attitude, and it doesn't listen to what you said, and why would you do that? It's just a lot of things like that. Especially with a lot of modern films too, they seem to want to trying to make it a bit cooler. Like Interstellar had the same thing. You had another robot that was really sort of cool and talk back, and you know what I mean. It's like it just doesn't fit. Maybe I'm being a bit picky, but it's stuff like that sort of, especially when you're talking about previous films that have set up this, set up characters and set up the mood to a film or the way the characters act in a film. Same thing with you know, the new Predator, the Predator movie that just came, which I watched yesterday. They did the same things in it too, like silly, stupid stuff that just, you know, trying to be funny, and it just doesn't fit, you know, the previous movies. You know, like some of the stuff that the Predator did in his new movie, they just wouldn't do. I don't think. Anyway, I'm sort of rambling on a bit there. But yeah, this film is actually not. I'll just put that cover back on. Yeah, as I said, I didn't like it much the first time, but it's sort of grown on me. And if you forget it's, you know, a Star Wars movie, it's actually quite a good, well-made movie. So that's that. Back on to the Force Awakens, which I think obviously came out before Rogue One. This one, I think I've always quite liked this one. A lot of people who came out had mixed reviews, but you know, I just think it's a really sort of fun movie, and I always enjoy watching it whenever I, you know, put it in my Blu-ray player. You know, people complain that it's pretty much a rehash of Episode 4. Okay, fair enough. But I didn't sort of mind that. To me, it sort of had this idea that, you know, it's sort of a, you know, it's in some ways there's a lot of stories about, you know, kids that sort of follow in their parents' footsteps and basically, you know, make the same mistakes again, even though their parents might have told them not to make the same mistakes. And it's kind of like a bit of a circle of life sort of thing. Your kids sort of do end up, you know, doing the same things that you did, which, you know, which is, you know, kind of my mentality. You know, that's why I didn't sort of mind it. It's sort of very similar to perhaps what was sort of seen before, if that sort of makes any sense to you. But yeah, it's. You know, and also I think this is a bit of it's a reboot, isn't it? I mean, you've got to try, and it's hard to sort of, because you've got to please the old fans, and then you've also got to perhaps try and introduce it to new fans. So that's kind of why maybe it's a little bit watered down in some respects. So I can sort of see why it's a bit why the film's, you know, like that, you know, kind of thing. But I just think it's a really fun movie, and there were some things I didn't like about it, some plot devices I didn't like, but I knew there was a sequel coming, and I thought, well, I'll reserve judgment on this one until I've, you know, sort of seen the sequel and sort of see what, you know, how they perhaps fix some of the issues that I had. I think I've always liked this one. I think it's a really good film, and yeah, that's that one. And then of course we got, you know, the Last Jedi, which I've got this. Another steelbook here. The case is coming off. I'll get rid of that. A bit annoying. Yeah. Then we got the Last Jedi, which, yeah, was a bit of a disappointment. I think a lot of people have definitely made their opinion on that quite clear, that they were pretty unhappy with this movie. And you know, I didn't like it the first time I watched it, and I've watched it a few more times, and yeah, I have sort of maybe appreciated it a bit more. But yeah, it's definitely a bit of a mess. I don't quite understand what happened. I mean, when you consider the fact that they changed directors and they changed writers for this movie, it definitely spells out that it's not going to be. There's going to be a few problems, and to me, it just seems like, you know, the new writers came along and they already had a script written for their own version of you know, Star Wars, and they sort of had, well, we've got to try and mesh it together, mesh the first film with our new script, you know, try and put it together. So they basically got a list of the major plot devices that happened in The Force Awakens and just said, nah, I don't like that, cross that out, let's kill that character off, I don't like that. And just, you know, just sort of, nah, let's get rid of all that, I don't like it. And so there's a lot of things that were sort of set up in The Force Awakens that just get thrown away or just get disregarded. They just end it and, you know, move on to their own sort of vision, sort of thing. Which, I don't know, that's the main problem that I thought I had with it. And of course we're going to have the third movie come out next year, I think, year and a half away or something like that. I'm pretty sure with the original director again, J.J. Abrams. And is that going to go back to? Yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be a mess again, I think. Is he going to try and perhaps, you know, recoup the mess and go back to his original vision. I don't know. I mean, yeah. As I said, I've watched it a few more times, and it's grown on me a little bit more. There are some, like Kyle Ren and Ray. There's sort of story together. That's starting to get a bit interesting. So there's some things that I do quite like, in it. But yeah, it definitely was just a bit of a mess. I think it's safe to say, and it's it's not as bad, I suppose, as some people. People just totally wrote it off and totally trashed it. But yeah, it definitely was a bit of a letdown for me. So that's that. And then I do have Solo somewhere. Hang on. I actually just got this literally probably 10 minutes before I made this video. Just had a knock at the door, and the postman came and gave it to me. For some reason, I think this is in America. It came out September 25th or something. For some reason, you guys got it early. I don't know why. I think it's October 2nd today, October 3rd today. So for some reason, this is the release day. Well, that's what it said on the website, but I did notice I was in town a few days ago and they had it on the shelf. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. There seems to be a few different release dates or something. The film, I actually quite like this one. I don't know. I think a lot of people didn't like The Last Jedi, so they totally burnt out on Star Wars and just refused to go and see it. I did sort of hear that. But I actually quite like this one. I think it's probably one of the best films I've watched this year, to be honest. I'm not sure whether some people agree with that statement, but I'm looking forward to giving it another rewatch, because I only watched it once in the cinema. But I just thought it was a really sort of fun movie, and I quite enjoyed it. So that's Solo. I won't perhaps go on too much with that one. That's I'm going to say my short video, but it's not really short. I seem to have rambled on a little bit. Anyway, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video. It's nice to be back making videos again. If you want to leave me a comment below, certainly I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll try my best to answer them back. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.